Good evening to the discerning intellectuals, the sleepless observers, and the devoted family of Mr. Magazine. You have arrived at the only destination in the digital expanse where the glossy veneer of celebrity culture is stripped away, layer by painful layer, to reveal the raw, pulsating humanity beneath. We do not deal in the currency of cheap gossip here, we trade in the gold of deep analysis and the silver of verified insight. Before we descend into the labyrinthine corridors of tonight's heavy narrative, I must ask you to perform the rituals that keep this sanctuary of truth alive. Verify that you are subscribed, ensure the notification bell is ringing in harmony with our uploads, and most importantly, consider clicking the join button. By becoming a member, you cease to be a mere spectator and become a patron of the arts of journalism, directly fueling the engines of our investigation. Your support via the join feature is the lifeblood that allows us to bypass the superficial and strike at the heart of the matter. Tonight, we stand at the precipice of a story that challenges our understanding of fame, family, and the fragile boundaries that separate them. We are not merely looking at a disagreement, we are examining a rupture in the fabric of a prominent life. The protagonist of our tragedy is Barış Arduç, a man whose visage is etched into the collective consciousness of the nation, yet who now finds himself navigating a storm that no script could ever prepare him for. But remember, as we dissect these events, we do so with empathy and rigor. If you appreciate this elevated approach to storytelling, please press the like button now. Let the algorithm know that intelligence still has a place on this platform. To truly comprehend the gravity of the incident that has recently beleaguered Mr. Arduç, one must first dismantle the myth of the untouchable celebrity. There exists a pervasive, almost medieval belief that fame acts as a suit of armor, deflecting the arrows of mundane suffering. However, the reality, as evidenced by the recent turmoil engulfing Barış Arduç, is starkly different. Fame is not armor, but rather a magnifying glass under which every personal fissure becomes a canyon. The incident in question, a telephonic confrontation of operatic intensity, serves as a brutal testament to this vulnerability. It was not a thunderclap from the heavens that disturbed the actor's peace, but the shrill, insistent ring of a telephone, a device that connects us to the world but also, terrifyingly, allows the world to invade our sanctuary. The voice on the other end of the line, according to sources deeply embedded within the social strata of the Turkish elite, belonged to a figure of significant patriarchal authority, the father of Gups Özay. This was not, we are told, a conversation governed by the polite etiquettes of former in-laws discussing the weather or logistical trivialities. No, this was a collision of tectonic plates. The details provided to Mr. Magazine by insiders describe a verbal barrage that left Arduç, a man known for his unflappable cool and stoic demeanor, visibly shattered, psychologically cornered, and emotionally disoriented. Imagine, if you will, the scene, a quiet evening, perhaps meant for recuperation after the grueling hours of a set, shattered by a voice carrying the weight of history, grievance, and accusation. The specific linguistic content of this exchange remains locked in the vault of privacy, yet the aftershocks are visible to those who know where to look. Confidants describe Arduç in the immediate aftermath as a man walking through a fog, struggling to reconcile the sudden hostility with his reality. Words such as devastated, alarmed, and profoundly wounded have been whispered in the corridors of the industry. This suggests that the call transcended a mere argument, it ventured into the dark territory of intimidation, perhaps even touching the borders of what the law might define as a threat. We must pause here to analyze the figure of the antagonist in this narrative. The involvement of a parent, specifically a father figure, in the post-separation dynamics of a couple introduces a variable of immense complexity. In the cultural tapestry of Turkey, the patriarch is often viewed as the ultimate protector, the shield of the family honor. However, when does protection metastasize into aggression? When does the desire to defend one's child cross the invisible line into the harassment of another's existence? This is the ethical quagmire Barış Arduç now finds himself wading through. His reaction, or rather, his conspicuous lack of public reaction, is a masterclass in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. In an era where every slight is met with an immediate counterattack on Twitter, where every grievance is aired on Instagram stories, Arduç has chosen the deafening volume of silence. He has not issued press releases condemning the Özay family, he has not leaked counter-narratives to friendly journalists. Instead, he has withdrawn. Observations from the field indicate a man who has retreated into the fortress of his inner circle. He has become a ghost in the city he once ruled. This retreat is not cowardice, let us be very clear about that. Mental health experts and crisis management consultants often advise precisely this course of action. When the winds of toxicity blow with gale force, the wise tree bends and waits, it does not snap. Arduç is processing, healing, and perhaps consulting with legal minds to determine if this private assault requires a public defense. But this silence comes at a cost. It creates a vacuum. And as we know, nature abhors a vacuum. Into this empty space, speculation rushes in like a floodwater, carrying with it rumors, half-truths, and the inevitable judgment of the masses. Now, let us turn our gaze to the spectators of this drama, you, me, and the millions watching from behind the blue light of their screens. The digital reaction to the news of this confrontation was nothing short of a sociological phenomenon. Within hours of the whispers turning into headlines, the social media landscape transformed into a battlefield. On one side, the legions of Arduç's admirers mobilized with the discipline of a Roman legion. Hashtags of solidarity trended not just as labels, but as banners of war. They demanded respect for his privacy, they condemned the alleged intrusion of the Oğuz family, and they enveloped their idol in a cocoon of digital love. However, the internet is never a monolith. Opposite the loyalists stood the skeptics, the cynics, and the counter-narrative weavers. Questions were raised about the antecedents of the conflict. What did he do to deserve such wrath? Some asked, operating under the fallacy that every effect must have a proportional and just cause. This polarization is the heartbeat of the modern celebrity experience. A private pain is commodified, packaged, and consumed as public entertainment. Here, I must break the fourth wall and speak directly to you, the intelligent community of Mr. Magazine. I want to hear your voice in this debate. Do you believe that the families of ex-partners have any right to intervene in the lives of their children's former spouses? Is there ever a justification for a father to verbally besiege his daughter's ex-husband? This is a question of boundaries, of culture, and of ethics. Please, pause the video for a moment, scroll down to the comment section, and write your manifesto. Your thoughts are the pillars of our community. And while you are there, if you haven't already, verify that you have smashed that subscribe button. We are building an army of critical thinkers here, and we need you in our ranks. We must now don the robes of the legal scholar and examine the potential ramifications of this episode. If the accounts of threats and intimidation are substantiated by evidence, recordings, witness testimonies, or digital logs, we are no longer looking at a family spat, we are looking at a criminal complaint. The Turkish Penal Code, like legal systems globally, takes a dim view of threats to personal safety and peace of mind. The transition from a phone call to a courtroom is a journey fraught with peril for both sides. For the Oğuz patriarch, it could mean reputational ruin and legal sanction. For Arduç, it would mean dragging his private trauma into the cold, fluorescent light of a public trial. Legal experts suggest that Arduç's silence might indeed be the prelude to a strategic legal maneuver. In the chess game of high-stakes litigation, one does not reveal one's hand until the checkmate is inevitable. We might be witnessing the quiet accumulation of evidence, the calm before the litigious storm. Or, perhaps, we are witnessing a man who simply wishes to move on, who is absorbing the blow in hopes that the aggressor will tire and fade away. This brings us to the broader implications for Barış Arduç's career and public persona. Can an actor perform the role of a romantic lead or a fearless hero when the public knows he is being hunted in his private life? History tells us that audiences are fickle, but they are also empathetic. If handled correctly, this vulnerability could endear him even more to the public. It humanizes the marble statue. It reminds us that behind the designer clothes and the million-dollar contracts beats a heart that can race with fear, just like ours. As we navigate these turbulent waters, it is vital to remember that Mr. Magazine is not a monologue, it is a dialogue. We exist to serve your curiosity. This story about Barış Arduç and the Oğuz family is but one thread in the vast tapestry of Turkish stardom. Who else resides in the shadows? Which other icons are fighting silent battles that the cameras do not see? We want to know who you want to see on our operating table next. Is it the enigmatic life of Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ? The hidden struggles of Hande Erçel? Or perhaps a deep dive into the old guard of Yeşilçam? Leave your nominations in the comments below. We read every single one. We are your digital investigators, your proxies in the world of fame. But to keep this operation running at this level of quality, we need resources. This is why the join button is not just a feature, it is a partnership. By joining, you are buying the fuel for the next investigation. You are ensuring that Mr. Magazine remains independent, fearless, and thorough. If you cannot join today, a simple like and a share goes a long way in fighting the algorithmic suppression that often targets truthful content. Let us zoom out for a moment and consider the universal theme here, the X. It is a word that carries so much weight. In the life of a celebrity, the ex-partner is never truly gone. They remain in the archives of the internet, in the reruns of old shows, and in the collective memory of the fan base. But when the family of the ex-partner refuses to let go, the situation becomes toxic. It speaks to a possessiveness that borders on the pathological. Barış Arduç is attempting to build a new life, a new narrative. Yet, he is being anchored to the past by the heavy chains of another's anger. This is a tragedy of classical proportions. The hero trying to sail toward a new horizon while the winds of the past try to blow him back onto the rocks. It is a struggle for autonomy. It is a struggle for the right to redefine oneself. And it is a struggle that we, as the audience, are privileged to witness, not with glee, but with a somber recognition of its difficulty. As we draw the velvet curtains on this edition of our chronicle, I want you to sit with the weight of what we have discussed. We have journeyed from the shrill ring of a telephone to the silent corridors of a legal strategy. We have explored the psychology of a protective father and the stoicism of a besieged actor. We have looked into the mirror of social media and seen our own reflection staring back. The story of Barış Arduç and the shadow of Gups Oze's father is far from over. It is a living, breathing organism that will evolve, twist, and turn in the coming weeks. And rest assured, Mr. Magazine will be there at every turn, pen in hand, eyes wide open, ready to decode the signals for you. We do not say goodbye here, we say until the next revelation. But before you navigate away to the next video, I have one final, urgent request. If this video made you think, if it made you feel, if it gave you a perspective you did not have 10 minutes ago, please honor that exchange of value. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Leave a comment that adds to the discourse. And for the true believers, click join. Let us build a community that values depth over breadth, truth over sensation, and humanity over hype. Thank you for lending us your most valuable asset, your time. From the desk of Mr. Magazine, where the story never truly ends, but only waits to be retold. Good night, and may your own battles be fought in peace.